This morning Denmark made an extraordinary move, grounding all civilian drones across the entire country, effective immediately. The government has imposed a sweeping week-long ban in response to what officials are calling a major and credible national security threat, the likes of which Denmark has never faced before. Announced late Sunday night, the order halts every drone flight, whether for fun, business, or research. From hobbyist quadcopters buzzing over parks to commercial aerial cameras surveying construction sites, all are now grounded. The government's message is unambiguous. Unidentified drones represent a risk too great to ignore, especially in these uncertain times. For everyday citizens and businesses alike, it's a sudden and jarring halt to a popular pastime and a vital tool for work, creativity, and even emergency response. The ban is total, with authorities warning of severe penalties for anyone caught violating the new rules. Fines, confiscation, and even criminal charges are on the table. This is about more than just drones. It's about a nation grappling with the shadowy tactics of modern conflict, where technology can be weaponized in unexpected ways. The unprecedented move comes after a surge of mysterious drone sightings over critical infrastructure, power plants, oil refineries, and communication hubs, raising fears of sabotage or espionage. These incidents have pushed authorities to act swiftly and decisively, prioritizing national safety above all else. Denmark's bold and unprecedented step is now being closely watched across Europe as neighboring countries consider their own vulnerabilities. The skies above Denmark are eerily quiet, forcing a national conversation about the risks and responsibilities of living in a tech-reliant society. On the ground, however, the tension is unmistakable. Citizens watch and wait, uncertain what the next week will bring. The ban follows a week of escalating drone incidents that rattled Denmark, leaving both authorities and citizens on edge. What began as isolated reports quickly spiraled into a national crisis, with each day bringing new, more alarming developments. Drones, often flying at night in coordinated patterns, appeared over sensitive sites, far from the usual hobbyist flights. Their movements were precise, almost military in nature, raising immediate concerns about intent and capability. The most disruptive event: multiple drones breached Copenhagen Airport's airspace, forcing a 4-hour shutdown and stranding thousands. Flights were grounded, travelers were left confused and anxious, and the airport's operations ground to a halt. These weren't accidents, they were deliberate, probing security and causing chaos. The incident seemed calculated to test response times and expose vulnerabilities in critical infrastructure. Soon, military bases reported similar incursions, drones hovering, moving methodically, evading capture. The pattern was unmistakable, and the threat felt increasingly organized. The sophistication and coordination suggested skilled operators, not amateurs. Whoever was behind these flights had access to advanced technology and a clear understanding of Denmark's security landscape. Authorities scrambled to respond, deploying countermeasures and investigating the source. Emergency meetings were held, and new protocols were rushed into place to try to regain control. Each new sighting deepened the sense of unease, transforming isolated incidents into a clear pattern of harassment. The public's anxiety grew as the scale and frequency of the incursions became impossible to ignore. By week's end, Denmark faced a silent siege from unseen operators with unknown motives. The nation's sense of safety was shaken, and speculation about who was responsible ran rampant. The nation's airspace had become a battleground for control and security, with the government vowing to restore order and protect its people from this new, invisible threat. The Copenhagen airport shutdown exposed the fragility of critical infrastructure. Airlines lost millions, but the real damage was to public trust and safety. The coordinated drone sorties revealed an adversary who knew how to disrupt with minimal risk. Regional airports faced similar threats, keeping the entire aviation sector on edge. Military bases, the backbone of Denmark's defense, were also targeted, raising fears of espionage or worse. The military scrambled to protect assets and identify the intruders, diverting resources from other priorities. These incidents exposed gaps in Denmark's defenses, showing how easily secure sites could be penetrated. The message was clear: even the most protected areas were vulnerable to modern, low-cost threats. Denmark's sweeping ban is a direct response to what officials call a hybrid attack. Hybrid attacks blend conventional and unconventional tactics like unmarked drones to destabilize and intimidate without open conflict. By grounding all civilian drones, authorities can quickly spot and intercept any unauthorized aircraft. The move gives law enforcement and military a fighting chance to regain control of the skies. These drone flights aren't pranks, they're strategic, testing defenses and eroding public trust. The attacker remains hidden, making attribution difficult and raising the stakes of the response. Denmark's ban is both a technical fix and a political message. The nation won't be paralyzed by shadowy threats. The crisis comes as Copenhagen prepares to host two major European summits, drawing leaders from across the continent. With Denmark holding the EU Council presidency, security is paramount. The drone threat jeopardizes not just the safety of leaders, but the logistics and reputation of the host nation. To bolster defenses, Denmark called in allies. A German air defense frigate now patrols Copenhagen's port, adding advanced radar and missile systems. The drone ban and military reinforcements create a multi-layered shield around summit venues. For Denmark, success is a matter of national pride and credibility. The stakes are high. A single incident could trigger chaos and international embarrassment. The ban is a crucial part of Denmark's high-stakes security gamble. Officially, Denmark hasn't named a culprit, but suspicion falls heavily on Russia. The timing and nature of the incidents have only fueled speculation, with many observers pointing to Moscow's long-standing interest in destabilizing European unity. The shadow of Russian involvement looms large over the investigation, casting doubt and anxiety across the region. Prime Minister Frederiksen and NATO leaders point to Russia's history of hybrid tactics and recent tensions in Europe. They highlight a pattern of covert operations, cyber attacks and disinformation campaigns that have become hallmarks of Russian strategy. These leaders warn that the current situation fits a broader trend of attempts to undermine Western alliances and test their resolve. The drone incidents fit a familiar pattern, probing NATO's defenses, sowing instability, and maintaining plausible deniability. Such actions are designed to keep adversaries off balance, forcing them to react without clear evidence of who is behind the provocations. This ambiguity is a key feature of modern hybrid warfare. Moscow denies involvement, calling accusations baseless. Russian officials insist that the allegations are part of a Western campaign to discredit Russia and escalate tensions unnecessarily. They maintain that there is no proof linking them to the incidents. The lack of hard evidence keeps the situation murky, but the scale and sophistication suggest a state actor. Investigators are left piecing together fragments, searching for clues that might reveal the true origin of the drones. The advanced technology involved raises further questions about who could be responsible. In Copenhagen and Brussels, few believe this is the work of amateurs. The coordinated nature of the incidents and the resources required point to a well-organized operation, likely backed by significant state support. The cycle of suspicion and denial is classic hybrid warfare, leaving Denmark to respond to a threat that's as deniable as it is dangerous. Decision-makers must weigh their options carefully, knowing that any response could escalate the situation further. For now, all signs point east, but the true source remains officially unconfirmed. As investigations continue, the specter of Russian involvement continues to haunt both policymakers and the public, keeping the region on edge. Denmark's drone ban marks a turning point, forcing a debate over security versus freedom. Drones, once symbols of innovation, are now potential weapons, prompting unprecedented state control. Stricter regulations are likely mandatory registration, geofencing, and real-time tracking. These measures will boost security but may stifle innovation and burden businesses. The public is waking up to the reality of hybrid threats. Security is no longer abstract, but personal. Denmark's response is a defensive move in a new era where the skies are contested ground. The challenge ahead: protect society without sacrificing the openness that defines it.